What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day over on Twitter, I saw a post from Charlie Intel. And ladies and gentlemen, this post is absolutely huge in many different ways. I'm going to go ahead and read it off for you guys. We've heard from multiple sources that Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and Warzone player count is higher than that of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 at this point, which is impressive considering Modern Warfare 2 is one of the best-selling CODs. Listening to the community and making changes actually works. There's a couple of things I want to go ahead and talk about when it comes to this, little bit of information here. First and foremost being Infinity Ward and why they deserve to get the heck out of Call of Duty. Honestly, this right here, in my opinion, is proof that Infinity Ward is absolutely useless. And for some strange reason, the favoritism that Activision has been giving them for all these years, I feel like, is going to be slowly dwindling away because now, with real actual proof, we see that literally the name is what carries Infinity Ward. Am I right or am I wrong? It's not the gameplay. It's not the design decisions. I mean, let's be real. Infinity Ward is one of the most egotistical development teams when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise. This here proves that they don't know what the heck they are doing. And I'm not talking about the very talented developers who work at Infinity Ward, because let's be real here. Infinity Ward makes some of the best looking, best sounding, best, feeling games, if I'm going to be honest. A lot of their games would be my favorite out of the past 5, if, of course, they made design decisions, core fundamental decisions that the community wanted, but they never did. So, obviously, even though they felt amazing, they sounded amazing, all of the above, I couldn't enjoy them because they refused to listen to the community. So, yeah, I think the developers are talented, and I feel like they should just be stripped and moved to different teams. Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games should be able to, take the majority of those people and get the frickin' heads out of there because they have no clue what they're frickin' doing. And like I just said, this is proof that literally every last bit of popularity that they get out of their games is from the name alone. They literally sell titles off of Modern Warfare because Modern Warfare is one of the most popular names when it comes to the Call of Duty franchise. So when Modern Warfare 2019, dropped, that obviously blew up because we just came off of a massive drought of a bunch of futuristic games, and then we had a World War II shooter, which was, obviously Call of Duty World War II was a mixed bag. It was a little bit better at the end of its life cycle, but let's be real, the whole game was just kind of confusing, It was just so many different changes, so many things going along. It wasn't exactly what a lot of people wanted. And then we see a game called Modern Warfare, and we're like, yes, we are finally back, and that game sold like hotcakes. And same thing with Modern Warfare 2 2022. It's literally titled after one of the most popular Call of Duty games out there. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys, Modern Warfare 2 isn't one of my favorite OG games, but being realistic here, BO2 and Modern Warfare 2 are the most popular old school titles. You can argue otherwise with, one of your favorite games. I know some people are going to say Modern Warfare 3 is better than Modern Warfare 2, and I honestly agree with that. Or some people might say COD 4 is better than them all. And, I love COD 4. But realistically, when you say Modern Warfare 2, everybody knows it. When you say Black Ops 2, everybody knows it. And when anybody ever brings up a classic old school title, 9 times out of 10, they're talking about Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2. They knew what they were doing by copying the exact name of Modern Warfare 2. And it worked. The game sold in tremendous amounts, right? But again, it was only because of the name. Because as you could see right here, again, I'm going to throw it up again just so we can see it and understand it. We've heard from multiple sources that Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and Warzone player count is higher than that of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 at this point. And again, they claim that Modern Warfare 2 is one of the best-selling CODs. Modern Warfare 2 sold insane numbers because of its name, yet and still, its player count is getting absolutely demolished from a game that everybody considers DLC. Let that sink in for a second there, guys. Let that sink in. Modern Warfare 3 is literally practically considered a DLC in the community. Whether you want to believe that or not, whether it's the truth or not, it doesn't matter. The reason why the majority of the community didn't even purchase into the game in the first place was because of the fact that it just felt, looked, and sounded too much like DLC to Modern Warfare 2, so nobody wanted to purchase it. Yet and still, this quote-unquote DLC is performing way better than Modern Warfare 2. And I'm pretty positive Modern Warfare 2 even outsold Modern Warfare 3 here. Obviously, because again, everybody considers this game DLC, so it's not going to make that many sales. Yet and still, it's more activity on a Modern Warfare 3. I know I just said it, but I'm going to say it again. Infinity Ward needs to be frickin' stripped. The developers need to be put on different teams, and the head bosses, the head honchos, they need to get the heck out of there because, this right here is proof alone that they don't know what they're doing. Could you imagine being able to clickbait people with the title of your game along with having a good game as well? Could you imagine how good that would have been for Call of Duty? But no, they clickbaited everybody with Modern Warfare 2 and presented something that nobody wanted out of the community. A massive, massive waste of potential. But this video isn't just about Infinity Ward. I wanted to touch upon Sledgehammer as well because this is really good news to me. Not just to bash Infinity Ward for being useless and not listening to the community, the heads, of course. I always have to, hyper-focus the heads and not just the developers because the developers are just following orders. They're doing their jobs. They're very passionate about making games, but it's only so much they can do. I respect their work, and like I said, they deserve to go to different teams, but Infinity Ward needs to be cut. The heads need to get out of there. But for Sledgehammer, you guys know me. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know I like Modern Warfare 3. And it hurts sometimes because it never gets any recognition. This is one of those games that we're going to look back on 3, 4, 5 years down the road and say, yeah, that was actually a pretty decent game. But it's only because we're looking back on it 3, 4, 5 years down the road. It's probably going to be absurdly cheap. You could probably get it for like $20 or something of that sort. And then, yes, it's finally worth it. But it's hard to justify the $70 price tag. And that is pushing so many players away from wanting to give it a shot. That plus skill-based matchmaking is just a no-go. And I always say the same thing. Can you blame them? No. If I didn't do content creation, I'll probably be in the same boat. There's so many good games to play right now. Why would you bother coughing up $70 for another Call of Duty title? But again, playing it all this time, this is probably the most fun I've had with a Call of Duty game. This is the longest I've ever lasted with a Call of Duty game. Usually by now, I'm done. Nothing that is ever said out of my mouth is positive for any of the Call of Duty games. But this one, even though, of course, there's negatives that we have to discuss, there's always going to be negatives, right? We always have to critique and try to improve the game. But when it comes to my mindset of the game and how much fun I'm having in it, this is probably the most consistent fun I've had in a long time. And Sledgehammer, I just felt like they weren't getting the recognition. But after seeing these numbers, I'm happy. I'm happy. The game doesn't need to make a ton of money. Everybody in the world doesn't need to play it. I don't care. I just want to see that Sledgehammer notices that their work is being well received, and not completely bashed upon. Because for the first time in a long time, we have been listened to across the board. And again, I know I always have to say 50,000 times because for some reason people in the comment section just don't simply understand, being able to see both sides of the story. But, obviously there's things to critique, right? There's always things to critique. But when it comes to the fundamentals of the game, this is the first time ever, I'm being so serious. Not even Treyarch has gone this far. Not even Treyarch has gone this far. And I know everybody likes to hype up Treyarch for quote-unquote listening to the community, but no, sometimes Treyarch is almost just like Infinity Ward. Sledgehammer is the only team, realistically, that really dives deep into listening to community feedback. Treyarch makes a good Call of Duty game, don't get me wrong. They know what the community wants. But when it comes to making changes, core changes, their ego still kicks in. Sledgehammer, there's like zero ego. If we don't like something, they instantly change it. The movement changed. The time to kill for certain weapons, the weapon balance itself, instantly changed. I mean, they fixed the meta of the game within, the first few weeks? That was insane. I've never seen that, bro. Modern Warfare 2019, I wasn't done complaining about the meta until the end of the freaking game. This game, they fixed it within the first couple to a few weeks. That's impossible. I've never witnessed that a day in my life. Same thing with Cold War. The Cold War meta was horrifying for ages. Again, half the life cycle. It was a burst meta and sniper meta, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2 2022, the SCAR and all those other weapons, It's always some type of meta that is established that's obnoxious. But for the first time, yeah, there are guns that are very powerful in, Modern Warfare 3 here. But none of them make me want to stop using other stuff, And I really appreciate that. Yeah, I see the ACR a ton, and yeah, I get annoyed when I see it because, bro, the game is we're basically almost hitting the halfway point here, maybe even further than the halfway point. You could put the ACR down, man, in a casual pub match. You don't have to be rocking it 24/7. But it doesn't mean I have to use the ACR. I can easily beat an ACR with an SVA or a BP50, or I can literally use half the guns in the game and still compete with an ACR. Maybe not as much in a competitive scene, but in a casual environment, yeah, it's not impossible. Sledgehammer has listened, and they listened to good. It's just nice to see that they're getting recognition and their game is maintaining players, and I'm hoping that Activision sees this and they understand that having a development team with this type of communication is healthy for the player base. Even though people are going to talk crap about the game still, and people are going to, claim it's $70 DLC and stuff like that, the people who are playing aren't as dissatisfied because they know the stuff that they're saying matters. Yeah, of course, when it comes to skill-based matchmaking and other factors, things that Activision controls, they have no say, and they can't resolve. But the things they can resolve when it comes to just the core gameplay of the title, they are on point with it. And, I'm glad that people are, or at least some people are respecting that, and Sledgehammer can at least see that, their work and effort hasn't gone unnoticed. Now, I know everybody's going to say it's lazy, it's a bunch of DLC content, a bunch of remasters, but still, it's the thought that counts. They were told to make this game. You have to understand that. They were told to make this game. They were told to make remasters. They were told what to do. But it's them, the developers, who are willing to listen to us on top of that, It doesn't matter if it's their full game, a new game, a remastered game. It doesn't matter what type of game it is. At the end of the day, they listened, Anybody could do that, but they're the ones who went ahead and actually, initiated the process. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And if you're interested in any of my live streams, I do that over on Kick pretty much daily. That usually goes live around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.